Hello, this is Webster Wheeler. In this video, I would like to give you my thoughts on the very important role that exotic animal hobbyists, zoos, and public aquariums play in the advancement of science. Science is the process of taking theories, hypotheses, and whatever, fleshing them out, and determining whether they're true or not. What exotic animal hobbyists do, what zoos do, and what public aquariums do, they all keep exotic animals, and they generate hypotheses about what they're doing. About the food the animals eat, the conditions they need for them to thrive, and so forth. Zoos tend to focus on larger, much more spectacular animals: elephants, lions, rhinoceroses, giraffes, zebras, that sort of thing. And exotic animal hobbyists tend to focus on birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians. And these two groups of people, they aren't opposing each other. In fact, they complement each other. We work together. Hobbyists, zoos, and public aquariums to generate all of these hypotheses for science to investigate. And where that takes place is in academics and in the corporate world. There's academic science and there's corporate science. And then there's a third form of science, and that's what we are as exotic animals, animal hobbyists. We are citizen scientists. We don't necessarily prove anything, but we generate a lot of theories and evidence. If we can keep an animal alive in an ecosystem like a terrarium or an aquarium to the point where it flourishes, reproduces, then we can much better understand its needs, and those type of experiences can indeed contribute to science. And at this point, I would like to talk about specifically the ways that private exotic animal hobbyists have contributed to science. The biggest way by far, I believe, is aquarists have learned how to keep and maintain coral reef fishes. They've learned the types of interactions between the fish and the corals and the invertebrates and the ecology, the biology that's taking place. And they discovered that one of the things you could do to help coral reefs reproduce is you could do something aquarists call fragging. Fragging is the process where you take a piece of coral, you break off a growing tip, and you cement it to a solid object surface where it will remain stationary. And in a very short time, that piece of coral, if given the right conditions and environment, will start to grow. In fact, it will grow very quickly. And this has led academics to start looking into this, and indeed today the scientific community and marine biologists and whatnot are using the very techniques that aquarists developed in order to save coral reefs. Let's move on to reptiles and amphibians. That's also a very important role that exotic animal keepers can play and have in the development of science. For example, we know that a lot of snakes don't move around very much, and scientists are curious how they're able to maintain their muscle tone even though they don't move around that often, And that sort of information can apply directly to people in wheelchairs and people with lack of mobility in order to help them maintain and even maybe regain muscle control. In the area of amphibians and invertebrates, the world has so many biochemicals that can have a profound effect on humans. For instance, we know that there are painkillers in the animal world that are hundreds of times more powerful than morphine. There are chemicals in the animal world that can treat everything from erectile dysfunction to tumors in the brain. And the role that exotic animal hobbyists can have is learning how to maintain these animals so that they will be with us and that we can study them. Finally, I would like to discuss another very important role that exotic animal hobbies could also play. It's well known that no animal that's ever been kept in human society has gone extinct. Humans, if they look after animals, we can do it. We can provide for animals even though their habitats in the wild are being destroyed. And rather than letting these animals go extinct, we can bring them with us into the future. I don't know if we'll ever be able to reintroduce them to the wild. That's very hard to say. It depends on whether or not conditions will ever exist again that such a thing can be done. But regardless of that, I believe that we, as people of the earth, should do everything we can to protect and bring our environmental legacy with us into the future. My name is Webster Wheeler. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.